the processes that we have to do for events. And I'm sorry, now you have to turn on your cameras again because I started recording. Um, but I do want to look at the process that we have for events, kind of talk through it, make sure that anybody that might be a point of contact, a POC for an event starting forward, is aware of everything that needs to happen and kind of discuss the way that things should flow before we actually start getting in the nitty-gritty of actually putting events together. Because this can't TTC is notorious for having a lot of layers. We're like onions. And so I want to make sure that we're not missing anything, that there isn't something important that we might be missing. And so Julie and I had a conversation and we figured this would be a really good start. I would also like to put together maybe a document or something that anybody can take and they can understand the basic steps of putting together an event, because that can be daunting sometimes. And so I wanted to just take the opportunity to start there. Um, so hi, thank you for being here, everybody. Welcome aboard. Um, One of the things that I wanted to show, any questions before I start? Because I could always just go. Questions, thoughts, ideas? No? Okay. So one of the things that I wanted
Hey, wait, one thing.
Yes, Amy.
On the event checklist.
We're coming there.
We're going to start pushing them back if they're less than 30 days.
Okay, well, that's one of the things that I wanted to discuss is actually I was going to start with the event checklist. So perfect, Amy. Thank you. And so this is why I wanted to make sure we're having this discussion. Scott, the reason I wanted to check in is because I tried to look for a brand new event checklist under forms in my eForms and I can't find it. So I cannot create event checklists right now. Yeah. And I'll share my screen.
I probably forgot to publish it after I updated it. Hang on.
Oh.
I updated it yesterday, so.
Okay. Well, I feel better because I was like, man, I don't know what to do if this not. And I called Amy. I was like, did you do anything to it? She's like, no.
It's Amy's fault.
It's Amy's fault.
All right, it's there.
It's there. Let me refresh here real quick, and then let me start sharing, and then
see if you can pick out the update.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so to do this, once we're in Etrieve, I type event, and look at that, it's right here. Like internal magic. Event agenda and checklist. Magic. I am glad I'm not crazy because I was looking for it. This is the form. Haha. Must be this part right here. It says as of January 5th.
Ding, ding, ding. That's the one.
This form will route back to the form reader after risk management approves. So any document attached by risk management can be viewed by the form originator. Okay, so let me explain let me explain part of why I think this is happening, and then you guys can chime in, those of you that know about this. Originally, this form, it has a routing, and it's very linear routing. So it goes from one person to the next. Once that a person approves it, then it goes to the next. It takes a while. One of the steps is risk management, and the risk management or sometimes it's, for example, Ms. Briggs' area, they coordinate if there needs to be a contract or if there's some sort of document like a waiver or something like that that needs to be completed. Well, people didn't know that was done. It was attached, like after risk management or Ms. Briggs had it, they would attach it and then they would submit it so that it would go to the next step. What people did not realize is that if they needed that contract or that risk waiver or something like that, they had to go back in and look at their activity and find that and then look at the e-form and extract any attachments that they needed. I'm guessing that part of the reason that this is happening now is so that if there is an attachment, people get the Etrieve back, they can look at anything that might be attached, see if there's anything else that they need, and then if extract what they need and send it on forward. Is that correct?
Correct. There
Scott?
have been some issues where the originator can't see any attachments that are added after they submit it. So to correct that problem, I just had
Yeah.
it reroute back to the originator after risk management, so they should be able to see any attachments.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up because that actually just happened to me. I actually still have not received the attachments that I think Tracy attached to it. She said that she attached updated release for vendors. Yeah,
For what
Tracy
event?
Briggs for the Welcome Back Bash.
Activity.
And
So
I'm in my activities, I'm in attachments, and I only see it hasn't been routed back to me. And I only see the thing I attached to it. And
You know,
I
that
reached out to Tracy directly and I haven't gotten a response yet.
it's
the
probably this,
updated
right?
routing just happened yesterday.
Okay.
So this is probably, let me see.
Yeah, it
Is
looks like it's with
this-
mine is with business services now.
This should be it, right? No, this is old. Never mind. It's in business services, so I don't have it yet. Okay. Never mind. So that's what happens. This is a very linear form, which is why we need a lot of time and as much time as possible to submit it, because sometimes things just get stuck in a department if they need more information or something is happening. So, one of the things that anyway, let's go through the form real quick. This is a risk management form that was created a long time, way before Amy. But this is what we use. And there's a lot of information in here. The use of the internal form is for events only. All third-party events, to include sponsored by CTC by a third party, they need to go through facilities. And then for events requiring an RTA or a PO, those must be obtained prior to submission of this event form to budget. RTA or PO numbers must be included. Failure to provide all required information will result in denial. So, I will say I have an issue with that personally. And I think, Gail, I don't see your face, but I think you're in here. Because an RTA or a PO can sometimes take a while. And so we're adding weeks sometimes to try to get through this form. Now, I will show later what that means, but let's start with this. Anyway, so it has the contact of the initiator. In this case, it's me because it automatically populates. I just have to add my number. Okay, thank you, Gail. Sorry. This is where I want you to be really conscientious of what you're doing, because this is where stuff starts getting fun. Anything that is done through Caring Campus, the department or organization, I don't think we have a specific Caring Campus one. Maybe we can get one added. I don't know. It's a thought. But as of right now, we don't have one in here. So it needs to go through student success and persistence. The reason I say that, and we're in here somewhere, student is because right now, Julie is the main overseer of Caring Campus. So if there's a situation with an event, it's going to be her that's going to be help navigating those issues together with Corey and possibly me. So I want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. So just make it student success as a persistence as of right now, unless I don't know if that's something that we can add Caring Campus to this. I don't know, Scott, your thoughts on that might be beneficial because
Well, I can
you're
add Caring Campus. That's easy.
okay.
And as far as who it goes to next,
We'll talk about that.
the first field is ad hoc. So whoever you put in that search
Yeah.
field is where it's going to go first. So
I feel like we need to start identifying the Caring Campus events separately. So it would be nice to have that. Anybody has any thoughts on that? I don't know if Corey has thoughts or Julie or somebody else. No?
Corey is at home with no voice, but I'm here.
Yay.
I think that's a good idea to add Caring Campus. And like Scott said, if it's ad hoc, you can type in whoever. We
Mhm.
can just send them through
Okay.
to a person, so they would go to Julie ultimately.
Yes, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but
Cool.
we're not there yet. So anyway, this is, if we add Caring Campus here, that would be nice, because then we know specifically that it's Caring Campus. This is where things start getting interesting. And this is where Julie and I had a conversation, and we kind of agreed on something, but I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Where it says here, Associate Vice Chancellor, Chief, Dean, Deputy Chair, or something like that. And Corey, I was trying to talk to you earlier, but that explains why you were not answering your phone today. Because I wanted to explain this before we had this meeting, but what we kind of talked about is putting me here. And the reason is I'm used to doing events and I'm used to looking at pitfalls. This is something that I do with clubs and organizations. That is part of my role, is to oversee clubs and organizations. And so I don't get involved in the planning of their actual events, but I look at these and I approve them, um, and ask questions so that if hopefully we avoid a pitfall in further down the line. It doesn't always happen. Things still get through, but a lot of times I can identify issues before, it's way further down the line. And part of the thing I don't like about this form is that if for some reason, let's say Amy has to send it back, then it starts again from almost the beginning, basically. And so if you're already at level 5, you're going back to level 1 and it has to reroute again. That is very annoying. And so I would like to attempt to avoid as many issues with that as possible. Now, unfortunately, I'm still human and I make mistakes, but I'm hoping to catch as many as I can ahead of time. And that's why we thought about that. So in this case, you can type Santiago or whatever, you click search, and then my name is here. M. Santiago Cruz, you just pick it, that routes it to me. So the point of contact is still going to put the information at the top. The routing is going to be me, and then the executive officer or dean is going to be Julie, which is Dean Student Success, right here. That way, in any Caring Campus event should have this initial routing. Any questions with that? Because I
Hey.
saw somebody try to say something.
I have a quick question, Mariceli.
Mhm.
Considering that we're going to try to hone in on some events for Caring Campus and they should all be going through you, I would suggest that less people, even better, that you would be our person to put in the event form, rather than send it through multiple different people.
Here's the issue I have with that. I am
Sure.
not always going to be the point of contact for the event.
Okay.
So it's not my event. Like, for example, you guys in financial aid are going to have the hot cocoa, for example. I don't know the details of that. If I'm putting that event in, I have to type in all of those details and maybe attach things. I can't do that because I don't know that
Yeah,
information.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Mhm. Somebody else? I felt like somebody else might have something else to add, and I wasn't sure. Erica?
Just a quick question. So if that's the case, is there any possible way to add an additional line under where it says associates, vice chancellor / teacher, et cetera? Can we put parentheses, Caring Campus, and then dash your last name? So when someone is creating an event with the label Caring Campus, they'll remember, oh, I have to search for Marcelli, just an additional or help tool or something like that?
Well, I don't necessarily want to put it on this form because this form gets chaotic if it continues to be chaotic. But one of the things I do want to do is create a how-to for Caring Campus. And so even if we don't necessarily put it in here, I definitely one of the reasons I'm going over all of this is that eventually I do want to create a how-to that can be used for Caring Campus and maybe even for other things. Um, I yeah, because a lot of people do use this above and beyond that. So I don't want to. And this, so my office ends up getting every single one of these forms at least twice. We are routed through at least twice. And so it definitely gets very cumbersome. Sometimes adding even this at the top already is starting to be a lot. And I understand that there's a reason for it, but it starts getting to be a lot. Um, that's my opinion.
I'm just listening in and I'm having thoughts as you guys are talking about the form. Maybe we need to, or maybe it could be a good idea to reformat the form, starting with who's completing it, like which department. And then based on which department is completing it, have it route specifically through a routing process based on that specific department, and then adding Caring Campus as part of a department. So if a department is actually doing a Caring Campus event, they could just choose Caring Campus rather than their department.
So
That sounds
that's mhm.
that sounded complicated, and I hope I said it in a way that
Let me try to see if
y'all understand.
let me see if I understood correctly. Because the way that we have it right now, for example, here on the first line, it automatically populates my personal information, email address. Each individual that is creating this form creates the basic routing, initial routing for it. And what I mean with initial routing is it's the associate vice chancellor, chief, dean, or department chair, and then whatever executive officer comes after that or dean. So
Gotcha.
that's the way
So the form is
you
routing.
pick.
So
Correct.
the
The
form
form, the form already has a routing process, based on who's completing it.
Yes.
It's already determined. I mean, you select what the routing should be. We're just trying to say if it's a Caring Campus event, let's use this as the routing process.
Yes.
Since so many people in Caring Campus aren't typically programmers, or a lot of people aren't, whereas SSP, many of us are. But if you are in that situation, then Mariceli and Very of us can help get through this process.
Yes, and I'm hearing that and I'm understanding that. And I'm also hearing that outside of that, there is an issue with the routing of the form because people are getting the form more than once, even if they don't need to. So
No,
No,
that's
no,
what
I don't
no.
think that that's what the issue is. I think actually they're not getting it when they do need it.
No,
okay,
and
so that's
to
an
be fair,
additional problem because I literally just heard Mary Sally say they get that form several times.
I
So
do because I'm part of
The
this
routing.
form.
Yeah.
I have a
oh,
permanent
okay.
routing of this because I oversee room assignments for events, and then I am
Mhm.
the final approver of this
Okay,
form
gotcha.
because
Because you
that's how
guys
it
have,
was created.
so that everybody
Gotcha.
understands this form, it also has to do like the ad astra and what goes into ad astra and how we reserve rooms. It also goes to the police so that the police can encourage coverage and all of that. And so Mariceli has several roles. That's why it's going through
Gotcha.
her. It's not that it's cumbersome. There's a reason why it's doing that. And as we walk you guys through, like Amy, for instance, in risk management, that is a layer it has to go through.
Mhm.
Hmm. So
So
not
there,
everybody gets this
right.
multiple times. I happen to be in a particular situation where I do
Gotcha.
because of
Okay,
my
I
role.
heard that as an issue when you said it. So
No,
thank you for clarifying.
Hmm.
I'm
No,
listening.
thank you. Okay, so that's the routing of this. Um,
Mariceli, there was a question in the chat
oh,
about
sorry.
from Jennifer Kaufer about how the form applies to events in the service area or sites outside of Central Campus.
So this doesn't matter. This is only for what we're talking about right now is specifically for Caring Campus events. If you are creating an event in the service area out there, Marble Falls or whatever, and it's your event, then you're still using the routing that would follow your supervisors. So it would be from you as the originator, and then it would go through DNOSER or whatever your routing is that way. But because that's your event. All we're talking about here today specifically is Caring Campus. I hope that makes sense.
Mariceli,
Yes.
I do want to say something before we get further. So before you submit your event checklist form here, if you're doing any kind of food, that temporary food event checklist has to be done first. Attached to this and then submitted.
So, yes.
So
wait a
we'll,
second, is that
we'll get
new?
to that.
Yeah, is that new?
So it's apparently been in the policy for years.
I'll
and
explain that in a
everybody's
minute.
just not been doing it.
Well, I can say that it's going to create issues because sometimes getting bids and getting stuff from Great Western can be incredibly time consuming.
Temporary food is if you're going to do it. So if Great Western's going to do it, I don't need it. But
I got it. I know what you're talking about. Oh, okay.
If,
I see.
for instance,
Got
on a
it.
hot cocoa bar, if y'all are going to go buy the hot cocoa and bring it all yourself and go that route, then we have to have the temporary food event checklist has to be done first. But if it's through Great Western, I don't need that.
Got it. Okay.
It's just
That
outside
makes total,
food.
that makes total sense. I totally understand.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
I got it.
and I'll explain that in a minute, a little bit more to how to do all of that. But we have the event name here, whatever it would be. This is where things start getting very detailed, and this is where I can't do it for people. I need people to do it because you guys know what you're doing. Some of these will expand and contract depending on if you say yes or no. This is one of those. Will there be a guest speaker, vendor, or groups at this event? When we're talking about guest speakers, vendors, it's basically outside people coming in. That's when we really, really need that. Not so much when it's our own CTC people, but it's when we're having like a guest speaker. Whether we're paying them or not, we should be having them have this. So then we put choose, and if you say no, nothing happens. But if you say yes, then things start popping up. And this part of it is important because this is where risk management and Ms. Briggs have to figure out, do we need a contract for them? Do we need any more information? What do we need? And if it's a guest speaker, then they're going to ask what's the information for that, the name, organization, their address, all of this. Are they going to be paid or not? All of this, because they have to figure out if they're going to need a contract for that or not. Whether we pay them or not doesn't necessarily, if we pay them, we probably may need a contract. If we don't, we may need a contract, we may not, or we might need some sort of document. That's not up to me or any of us. That's up to basically Ms. Briggs and possibly Amy. I don't question those things. If we have vendors, then the same thing. Now, here we have space for a certain amount of things. If you have way more than this is where you'd start adding attachments, because maybe it's easier for you to create some sort of document that has all of this information in it already and attach it, because maybe you run out of space, there's not enough. They give you some here, but if you need more, you can always attach more information for things like this. Because it may make sense to do it that way. And if you want to just attach it, that's fine, but they do need the information. And if there's anything else that they need, they'll reach out to you or and let you know, hey, I need more information about this or what the plan is or etc. So I'm gonna close that up. Same thing here with event activities. Usually you put a small like a summary of what the activities are doing, but sometimes people want feel like it really explain it, and you might have to either add an agenda or attachments or things to really explain it. you can do that up here as well. And sometimes it also requires a further explanation. And I mean that because here it says start date, end date, start time, end time. Things don't always fit perfectly here. If you have an event that is multiple days, this is not necessarily going to make sense, which is why that's where maybe an agenda would make more sense to say we're going to have 3 days. It's going to be, from this to this, or, type it out in more details on the event activities portion. Estimated number of participants. Will CTT transportation be required? No, nothing happens. If it's yes, then you have more information here. Please list the name of employees that will be driving. Will students or minors? Yes, no. Things start popping up depending on if it has been determined that more information may be needed. Same thing here. If you have, let's say you have 50 employees that are traveling for an event, which is a lot. Maybe this is not enough space. Please see attached and put this is the whole listing with all the information of all the employees that are participating and are traveling. It's basically a way to make sure that you understand what's necessary and not necessarily that it has to fit into these little holes, because sometimes this is enough, but sometimes we are aware that it's not. Will it be predominantly visited by minors? Yes or no? Same thing. Is it going to be inside a building? Then it asks you what buildings. This one has only one. Again, this is where you might have to type out more buildings if it's a multiple buildings or multiple rooms, because you don't have enough. That's why there's a typing box so that you can add more information in there. If it's outside area, then you can put where again. And then if it's off campus, then what the location is. This is one of the things that my area looks at, because we help make sure that if you're using any space in our campus, then that also needs to be added to Ad Astra, which is our room assignment software, so that we can know that where the event's going to be and make sure that you have HVAC and any other things that you might need. It also adds it to a calendar that allows marketing to know that events are happening. Risk management.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
give people a heads up on this location? Please call, like if you're wanting to use Anderson, or call Jen in advance and see if the space is available. Because or that's what we do. And then we put it on there because if it's not, then it gets rerouted back to you because the space isn't available. Oh, it doesn't, Mariceli?
Yeah, I want to change that mindset, because every single person that works for CTC has access to Ad Astra, and they can actually look the stuff up.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't care how you do it, if you call Jen or look up Ad Astra. My point is please check that before putting it in there. Whether it's call Jen or check the Ad Astra, please check that. Don't just put it in there, because that's a reason why it could get stopped and sent back to you. That's all. That was all my point.
Yes. So, but yes. So, make sure that you have a space available for sure. And if you need help, we're more than willing to help you figure it out. We do this all the time, but I want to make sure that you guys are aware that you can have your own. Veronica, do you have a question?
I do. It's about Ad Astra. Okay. Does everybody know that they have access to book a room through Ad Astra? So I think I have 2 questions. So that's my first one. And then my second one is there training on how to navigate Ad Astra, so that if we want to see if a room is available, we'll know how to do it?
Here, I'll show you right now. Right in the very front. I'm going to sign out real quick. This is what you would see if you tried to log into Ad Astra right now. Scott has created a video. He also created some PDF instructions on basic navigation of this. It gives you information if you have questions. If it's an external room request, which means that it's somebody from outside CTC, this is what they need to fill out here. And then we have some information here on events. So Do they know that they need to book through Ad Astra? We try to give out that information as much as I can. But if they like right now, I'm not even signed in, and it gives you all of this information.
Yeah, maybe we could put something in the news link to let people know if they want to book. They can specifically use Ad Astra. Are we keeping it Ad Astra?
That's a separate conversation that will end in
Okay,
that.
revisit later, not in this meeting. Okay.
That's not it. Yeah, but yes, just so that you know, you're going to use the same credentials. The basic information is you use the same credentials as you would to log into your computer. So the short version, not with the @ctcd.edu. So for example, for Veronica, it could be like V Martin or whatever her short version is. And then what the same password that you would use to actually access your computer because it's tied in.
Your network login.
Say again?
I was just saying your network login.
Yeah, the network login, correct. And then Wendy says, yep. And that's why we might just need to do Wendy, yes, you've used it and you just figured out that yes, you can look at it. Yes. Not everybody may be aware of these things. But in theory you can. If you come here to calendars, and I can show you very quickly a scheduling grid. I like scheduling grids, for example, just because I can see in a specific, this is just for the Anderson campus. You choose your calendar for the Anderson Campus Center. And so today, there is a department meeting and then there's a retirees lunch meeting, and it tells you exactly what rooms and at what times have been booked. Tomorrow we have Naomi's retirement, and then the department meeting continues. So yeah, people can see this now. I do have more access than most people on this campus, but people can see if there is something scheduled in specific rooms. And so the same thing if it's a classroom. If you come here and you say, I want to search for academic building, I want to make sure I'm having all of the events and all of the academics. I search. I'm just showing it very briefly so people can see. I'm not trying. Right now, there's nothing going in the academic building. But if we were to say Thursday the 29th, you can see that we have a lot going in the academic building. So yes, people can look this stuff up themselves in Ad Astra. Go through the little training that Scott has created with the forms and the video. Play around with it, but anybody can actually use this and identify what they need. Now, there is a form if you want to do event request. There's two forms. One of them is internal, one of them is the external. We're using the internal for any CTC events that is, Caring Campus events are always going to be internal. If it's something for your department, it's always internal. You find your name. It automatically populates. If this does not automatically populate or it populates something different, it could just be that you changed departments or you've never logged in before and I just need to assign you. You put your phone number in, the title, the description, all of this. You just fill all of this out. If you don't know what room to assign, and I always recommend it, sometimes this is kind of funky, but if you can't figure this out, just go ahead and type in, I want, Anderson Campus Center ballroom, and then we'll go ahead and help you figure that out. And then you submit it. That's very, very brief overview of what that is. But anybody that works for CTC can actually look that information up and request a room. All of those requests initially come to my office, so it's either me or Jennifer Parcell that oversee that. Veronica, was that you?
Yeah, I was just saying that was good information. Thank you.
Okay, that's very brief outlook. The risk management, nobody touches. That one is really up to Amy to figure out. This is not for you to say, yes, I need a contract. No, that's not for you. Amy determines if she needs a contract. So you don't have to fill anything out. She will fill out anything that she deems she fills this part out. Will this event be catered by Great Western or another source? If it's no food, great. If it's Great Western, then you can put notes in here. And if it's some sort of other food source, then there's more information that needs to be filled out because that will require business services to approve that. We have a contract with Great Western. If we're not using Great Western's services, then that requires prior approval. Jordan, did you say that you can add names to Ad Astra event request form? Yes, I can. We'll talk later, Jordan. Hit me up later.
Mariceli, and then with the Great Western piece of it with business services.
Yes.
Miss Holloway is the interim ABC right now, and she is requesting that proof of Great Western approving other food sources be attached to this event checklist.
Okay.
So
like an
just
email
the
or
email
something?
to Cynthia, when you send it to Cynthia and saying, hey, we're going to have this, you know, or do you approve? When she says yes, then a copy of that email is attached to this. And so she's requesting that. If not, then Miss Holloway sends it backwards and then it gets hung up again.
Can I just say, generally speaking, we need to plan to use Great Western. That don't think that you're going to get approved to go outside of that. Normally we use Great Western. So if you're thinking food, which food doesn't necessarily have to be a part of all of our of any of our programs necessarily, but if you are, plan on using Great Western, generally speaking. I'm just saying generally.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good answer. I think it's the easiest answer.
Yes.
I mean, I know in SSP, we rarely do not, I mean, rarely do I say, okay, we can try to fight the battle and do something different. And Great Western is actually fairly easy to work with. So I would just say use Great Western.
Yep. Okay, now this is for budget, and this is where you put your, they want to know how much funds you're going to plan on using. This is where at the top of the form we mentioned that they want you to have your RTA and all of that put in. Jennifer, Caring Campus events can be anywhere in CTC. That could be online, that could be in your site, it can be anywhere. Okay, coming back to this budget information. So they're going to want to know, make sure that we have enough money to cover whatever it is that we're doing. Usually you have to do some sort of budget, some sort of RTA, some requisition with a PO, BPO, something like that. This is where they were talking that this gets added. So 10.
And can I just say, can we just talk budget for a second? Right now, Caring Campus really doesn't have a budget. So if there's money, it's probably going to have to be coordinated through SSP. And that's what Corey and I have talked. And really the person, if there is a requisition, Courtney Martin is my administrative assistant, and she is going to be the one that we talk with and we get this all coordinated through for Caring Campus if it's coming through SSP. So I'm just saying she will do the requisition. She will do all the paperwork for that. She will make sure the funds are available. She will tell you what the number is based on the conversations that she and I have. Now, once we get numbers for a budget, Corey and I had some conversations about that too. I think that'll still live within SSP, and Courtney will be the one that does those requisitions for Caring Campus though. So I just wanted to clarify all of this piece right now, that I don't want you to think that you're going to go have to log in to Colleague and create a requisition or an RTA or anything like that. We're still going to own that piece of all of that.
Okay. So let's say we're planning on using.
Mariceli,
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Mariceli. Before we move on, can we just address Jennifer Calfer, her questions real quick? Because she's logging in from a site. And so she's in this meeting, and I want to make sure that we're addressing how she can also do Caring Campus events at sites.
Absolutely.
So she doesn't have to use this event form, though. Is that true?
No, she does.
You do, if you are
She
doing an
does have
event,
to.
yeah, even if there's no
Okay.
food and no money used, if you are doing an event of any kind, this form has to be filled out, regardless of what kind of event it is, where it's happening, or anything like that.
And
This
that's the
form has
same
for
for
every
Fort Hood as
department,
well.
everybody at CTC. If you are
Okay.
doing any kind, it doesn't even have to be student. It could be all for faculty, all for staff. This form has to be filled out.
Okay, Jennifer, does that help out some? So basically, anything we do has to go through this form.
Correct.
Which is why I was saying if it's a Caring Campus event, then you're going to follow the protocol that we're doing right now, the same thing. If
Right,
we
okay.
consider it that. But if it's something that you as the overseer of, Marble Falls and all that, I can't remember if it's South area. Um,
Mhm.
if you create an event that has nothing to do with Caring Campus, and then you're going to have to route that. You still have to do this form, but you're going to route it through your regular chain of command.
Fair enough. The only thing is like my department's not listed in the department list, which it
That's
says to
easy.
call phone number. But at the same, so I just don't like. There's a lot of that when it comes to that form that it doesn't feel like. I guess because partly we've never been able to really offer events out here. We don't. I'm not used to having staff, so I've never had time to plan or offer one.
Yeah.
And we did do an event last year, but I don't know if the form got through what it needed to or anything. Like we just, it was just, there's a lot to it that we've never.
Right.
And the like training as far as that goes, as far as how to do this, like I've never seen any training on how to plan an event or I've gone through anything like that. So I just feel like if I'm feeling that way, then a lot of the other sites must feel that way as well,
Right.
where people feel included. And I think that's part of Caring Campus is
Exactly.
to include the people outside of main campus as well. And I honestly, at this point in time, don't feel included in this process.
Well,
No, and
It sounds like
I appreciate you saying that, Jennifer, but go ahead.
absolutely. It sounds like we have more homework that we need to make sure that we're creating processes for events and sending that out to all the sites as well as faculty and staff on campus because there's things that Mariceli is saying right now that I don't know about. And I mean, we've recently realized through the fall semester that there are things that we need to be considering events that I wasn't even considering an event before. So like hot chocolate bar is definitely one of those things. And if we're not recognizing every single thing that we move and do as an event, then we need to start and we definitely need to make sure that we have some training involved in not just central campus, but all the sites so that they know that that's something that needs to be going on. So let's add that to our list of things to start getting done.
well, and
Corey,
this is
just so that can I just address one thing, Corey?
Sure.
When you said that hot chocolate, don't worry about the hot chocolate because I covered the hot chocolate bar through welcome weeks.
Yeah. No, I was just
It was
yeah.
so a lot of things you guys probably don't realize got covered, got swept up because SSP is very used to doing this, and we took care of the event request for so much that happens.
Mhm.
Yeah, we just need to get used to recognizing everything that we do
Right.
as an event.
Correct.
And
Very
All
so-
right,
good
thank you.
point.
Sorry, Mariceli.
No. And all I was going to say is that this is part of where I think we should start. And this is why I'm going through this form. Because even though this is not necessarily what everybody thought, that this was, this is one of the first things. Everybody needs to be aware of what the processes are, add the input to it, and then we might have to create a how-to, at least some basics, so that we can go ahead and help any staff member, regardless of where they're located, to be able to know how to do the basics. Yes, definitely, Erica. I agree that we can post that out there once we have it. We can post it in the Eagles Wing faculty and staff facing webpage. But yes, so that's why I wanted to start with this today. Kind of have this discussion with you guys. We need to then kind of put it together in a way that's going to make sense to people, because this is a lot that we're discussing. But I'm hoping that it sounds like you guys are getting something out of this, so I feel a lot better about it. Okay, budget. So we're gonna, if whatever account number that gets used, and I'm still gonna cover this because even though SSP is covering it, if you want to use this information for another event, you need to be aware of it. Sometimes we have to use, whenever we do requisitions, most of the time we only use just one GL number, and you say, well, I'm going to use $100 out of there, and what I'm buying, I'm just going to say food for the heck of it, right? But sometimes we have to use 2 or more account numbers to be able to pay for one thing. If that's the case, then you come back in here and you hit add and you add your other account number, and I'm just making numbers up to be fair. And I'm going to say I'm going to use $200 for decorations because it's probably not the whatever. Now, here's the other kicker to this. If we're doing food, for example, and you already did the requisition for it, then you can add the information in here. So if it's a BPO, you can say B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that way budget knows that that's already been encumbered and that it's already approved, and they can look at it. It came out of this account number, and that's the requisition number. Because maybe decorations, you get it out of like food might be active, one account, and then decorations might come out of another one. You can put all of those line items in there and specify, yes, this is a purchase order, and this is the purchase order number.
Guys, I think I don't want anybody to get stressed out though about this budget thing, because right now, remember, SSP is going to help anybody with Caring Campus. And so you call, I hate to put Courtney out there, but Courtney is our guru about requisitions and all of this and what accounts and how all that goes. So all you have to do is reach out to us, and we're going to help you with all of this part. Okay.
But anyway,
now, if there's no money involved in the event, no problem. You can just bypass this. And
That's
so
so
far,
much-
and mostly our things, we haven't had any money attached to it, so there's not been an issue.
So this form, it requires you to put a number in here. If there is no money attached to it, then you just put no money, and then the GL number, just add a whole bunch of zeros.
Right.
That's my only other thing I was gonna. And that's it. And then that way everybody knows there's nothing. Student life and activities. If you're doing an event, if it's off campus, this is not gonna show up. But if it's on campus, then Jennifer and we receive it. We'll look at it. We'll add the date of approval, and I like to put in Ad Astra, just to make sure that I already saw it. Or sometimes if I'm the one approving it, I may put needs Ad Astra or something along those lines. I may sometimes also do it. Oh, you don't see it here, but you can put comments on the bottom. I may say needs to be added to Ad Astra. I try not to hold stuff up just because it's not in Ad Astra, not the first go around, because it comes back to me. So I can always verify that it got added at some point. But you really should make sure you have a room assigned to you. You really need to make sure that it's been approved and that we have something. Now, we have had some cases where we try to approve something and you're still waiting for the room to be approved. I don't want to hold it up. We can always circle back to it, because it could be that we're still having to verify with somebody to make sure that the room is available and stuff like that. We try not to hold up that because of it, but still, we'll I try to put comments in there, and we say yes, it's approved, or no. And then sometimes we may reach out to you and get clarification. Wait, somebody said, if anyone's interested, I have a form I use in the planning process of events to track the whole process. It can be altered. Oh, Wendy, yes, please, please, please. Thank you. Thank you. She's saying she's got a form that she uses. It would be great if you share that as well, because sometimes we all create these little process maps or things that help us, and that might be something that can help somebody else, and we might be able to tweak it a little bit. So that would be great. If you could share it in the Teams folder for events, that would be amazing. Gail, thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. She said that we can always contact her for assistance if a requisition gets hung up. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. So this is police service. Again, you don't add this. Police fill out their own part to it. They decide how many officers they're going to need, if there's going to be a charge for officers. Usually they don't do that. Occasionally it has happened. And so if there's anything like that, that may happen. Most of the time though, it's if it's somebody from the outside that they're looking to use facilities here, they may charge for the officer's presence. Okay. Once it goes through all of these people, then it comes back to my office, which is the second time we look at it, any event form, and we look at it, make sure everything's filled out correctly, we're not missing anything, and then we approve it, and you get something that says that it's been completed or archived or whatever the wording is. Then in here, we have a checklist. This is the other part of it that everybody should be looking at if you want to create an event. So all decisions, and you have to choose, I agree, or sometimes it doesn't apply, then you do NA. All decisions regarding the need of waivers, insurance, or contracts are made by risk management. All decisions regarding CTC police presence are made by CTC chief. Ensure this form is submitted in time for these items to be accomplished and to avoid denial of your events. So make sure you have this in time. And this is where Amy was saying that 30 days prior, this should be there. The other one, 35 days prior, enter an event into Ad Astra to be placed in the marketing campus calendar. This also, Ad Astra is where marketing looks at for all of the events. That's why it's so important that you add all of your events in Ad Astra. On top of it, that it assists with, we have usually I have a meeting with facilities where we looked at all of the events. We try to meet weekly and look at and see what is in Ad Astra that hasn't submitted maybe some documentation, because maybe they need tables, do they need chairs, do they need anything. We try to have these meetings to make sure that we don't have last minute surprises. We are not always able to meet weekly, but it's very important that that you add things to Ad Astra, because we do cross-reference things to make sure we're not missing anything on the event side. And then marketing, and I know Erica here, she uses the information in Ad Astra to be able to figure out, oh, what am I going to put on the website? And the same thing with marketing, to be able to have an idea as to what's going on and try to plan some things. 15 days prior, contact business services to gain permission for food service other than Great Western. This is a little bit different now because Miss Holloway right now needs the information before she can approve it attached, but this is what normally is there. If you need catering, you need at least 15 days prior. Custodial services, they need a requisite a maintenance connection request. If you need tables, chairs, like if you need to make sure the bathrooms are clean or extra toilet paper, if you need anything that has to do with moves, anything like that, if you need to move furniture, all of that has to be set. And I would give them even more than 15 days if possible. And that's all done through maintenance connection. If you do not have access to maintenance connection, you can request it from facilities. But if not, I have access, Jennifer has access. We have multiple of us have access, and we can help you figure that out as well. Same thing with grounds. Grounds helps us with setting up signage outside for events. They can help us with some basic setups of some things occasionally, but they have to have a work order for them to do it. If not, they will not do it at the last minute. So please make sure that you have that available. Keep in mind, grounds does not work the same hours that you and I work. They come in way earlier and they leave way earlier, and they don't have lunch at the same time or anything like that. So that is why you need to put the work order, and if they have questions, then they'll come see you. And then if there's any signage, you need to take them up to facilities. You can take it up to facilities at any time. They'll just put them in like in a inbox for them prior to the event, because a lot of the times if the event is tomorrow, they'll set up signs today before they leave, because they may not have enough to make sure that they have enough time to put stuff up. Same thing, if you need a banner or something put outside, they can help with it, but you need to have that extra time. AV and multimedia requirements, they really like case tickets. I don't know why there's an e-form out there for that, but they prefer case. It helps
They
them.
do.
Don't use the e-form if you can avoid it. They really don't like it as much. They're really, really great at supporting us, but they need extra time, and they have a hard time when it's like a last minute request and they are not tracking it. It's very hard for them to pivot and plan things. So please give them as much time as possible. And then if you are driving a vehicle, you need to make sure that any person driving a vehicle is cleared through risk management and is approved to drive a CTC vehicle. Just because you're approved to drive your vehicle does not mean that you're approved to drive a CTC vehicle. There is a process, a background check, or some things that happens. Once you're, blessed, then you're good to go. Amy oversees that. There is an e-form for that as well. So make sure that you fill that out. And if you have any questions, you can follow up with Amy, but give her enough time to do that. Yes, ma'am.
Vehicles also include golf carts.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Any
So
kind of CTC vehicle, including golf carts.
Yep.
And if you're using a golf cart, facilities actually has a small training they'll have you go through to make sure that you know how to drive a golf cart. It sounds weird, but there are some nuances, and there have been people that have not used them correctly. So we want to make sure that we're using and doing things that are safe and doing things correctly. And this is the event checklist. Now, the other thing that we want to talk about that Amy started talking about, and I mentioned a little bit about too, is attaching things. Down here, on their attachments, you can add attachments now, but they can't be like a Word document. You have to transfer them into a PDF. They have very specific guidelines as to what kind of things you can attach to this. But make sure that when you're uploading a file, you will see all the attachments here. Look at them over, make sure that that you have everything that you need in there. As for the temporary event checklist, you made that an e-form separate too, right, Amy? Or do you want them the paper
right
one?
underneath there? See?
This one.
Yep.
So this is a separate form, but if they want to, they can also attach it here, correct?
They can, yes.
Mm-hmm. And this would be the paper one. The paper one is found in the risk management manual. That is under faculty and staff. So if you want to kind of pull that out and manually write it out or whatever, some people like to do that, scan it and add it to that's fine too.
But it's
Just
only
fill this
necessary
one out.
for outside food.
Fill this one out, print it, and attach it.
That too. All of that. So those are options. But and like I said, sometimes you don't have enough space in here for something. Just put a note that you have an attachment that explains it more. That's okay. I know I've done it where I just have something already created, and it's easier for me to attach that than try to fit it into these boxes. Usually the individuals that are looking at this, most of them want the more information, they prefer seeing something like that anyway. At least if they're getting all of the information at once versus having to contact you back and trying to figure out, did I get everything or not? Any questions, any other questions about all of this? Because I know I've gone through a lot and it's like we're at an hour. No, no. Did I miss any questions in the chat? I hope not. So this is the very core basics of an event, what we just discussed, because it includes all of these checklists here, as well as all the permissions that we need to do at the top. These are the basic things that need to happen. Now, there are nuances that happen at all of each of these steps, but I figured I would start with this and go from there. Wendy, it would be great if maybe you can share the document that you have and maybe we can kind of beef it up or, modify it in any, again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know what kind of, it might be perfect. But see if there's anything else that we can do to maybe help somebody who's trying to do an event be able to complete it in a positive way, or at least guide them through it, through the basics of it, and then some of the nuances. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, if it's an Excel spreadsheet, that's great. Because that was the other thing I wanted to do, is be able to create something that we can help carrying campus events specifically, but also potentially anybody that wants to do an event, make sure that they understand what the steps are. And some of this stuff may or may not be relevant, but sometimes it can be. Even like, for example, in the service area, I know that our campus police doesn't necessarily go out there very often, but there have been times when they coordinate with local PD to make sure that things are covered, or that, if something's going on, they'll contact local PD and ask for an assist, or, heads up or whatever. So don't think that this doesn't apply. I've actually had PD reach out to people out of PD to other police departments out of state if there was a situation that needed to be addressed. So if you're thinking, oh, that's only for CTCPD, it's only for Central Campus, no. They go to Fort Hood often. Every once in a while, they'll go to the sites. Not very often, but every once in a while, they'll do it. And usually, if they don't go out there themselves, they can coordinate with other PDs. Yes, this is recorded, and so if you guys want to post it, who do I send it? Who do I send it to? Erica, or Corey? The link.
Send it to me.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Erica. So once it's recorded, I'll give you access so that you can post it. This is a very basic information. If anybody at any point has any questions about this or events in general, please let me know. We'll continue, start thinking about events when you want to do this. But for now, I think this is a good stopping place. And then maybe we can meet again sometime soon and kind of delve into some other things. Anything else specific that you guys think we should be discussing, other than maybe coming up with a sheet or some sort of document to help people know what the basic steps for events are?
I think definitely some training or resource material for people that we can send out, but also I want this group to be thinking, because we're already in the spring semester, and it sounds like because this is we're needing so many things in advance. If we want to have an event, like, we need to start spitballing that right now and coming up with any things that we want to have planned for spring, and start getting some things in place for that. So I definitely want everyone to be thinking about what it is that they want to see us create this spring and even summer.
Yeah.
So ideas are super welcome. Please throw them in the Teams group. And also, while I have so many of you guys here, I just want to say thank you, because like, there's tons of y'all in here. I did not expect this meeting to be this big. You guys are fantastic. So I'm at home and I feel terrible, but I'm going to get agenda items out for us for Thursday. And I did want to say that we're planning on having our meeting at in building 431 in the break room. That is where facilities holds their big safety meetings. And the room's already been booked for us. So I just wanted you guys to know that I will send out information about that, but I just wanted to tell you all here.
I may be a little late to that one because that's a
Girl,
rough
no
day.
worries. Oh, it's a rough day for, like Monica won't be there. It's totally fine if we're too busy and can't be there. And again, we'll be online as well. It'll be recorded. So I
Well,
just
so
wanted
that
to,
the reason
go
it's
ahead.
crazy is new student orientation is that day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that one's a big one.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy day.
And
Yeah.
everybody's welcome
Hey.
to come and check it out.
Oh, I'll be
And
there.
and so that you know, we did do an event request form for new student orientation. So just so that you know.
Yeah, yes.
Can you update the calendar invite so I don't forget where it is here
Yes.
in 2 days' time?
Yes,
Okay,
I will.
fantastic. Thank you.
I'll send that out today.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Anything else? Yes, no, maybe. Thank you to everybody for being here. Definitely. I really do appreciate it. This is just step one, and I felt like we needed to start kind of from scratch and go, before we start thinking about everything else that we want to do. I want to make sure that everybody has this in mind as we're planning events and going forward. Scott.
I updated the department field on that form. I added North and South Campus and Caring Campus.
Yay! Let's look at it. Wait, let me see if what I just did worked, because wait, that's the wrong one. It's up here. Look, North Campus. South Campus, and then Caring Campus.
on the bottom. Yeah.
Yay! Thank
Isn't
you,
that
Scott.
awesome, guys? Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Ooh,
Too easy.
I know, that was so awesome.
yes. Awesome. All right. That is all I have. Let me stop sharing. Any questions? Anything else that we need to for next time? You're welcome, Wendy. I appreciate everybody being here. And if you have any further ideas, please let us know. We will definitely go ahead and start working towards it. But this is kind of the inaugural. I hope everybody learned something. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a good day.